All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I see a few people are starting to trickle in, so we'll give it a minute before we get started here. Welcome to a Day in the Life webinar. Excited to be here with you guys. And we'll just give it a sec. And feel free to use the chat function, everybody. You can type in anything you want. You can tell us where you're from. In fact, I'd love to hear that. If you want to maybe just put in there where you're connecting from, so we have an idea where everybody's at. That would be awesome. We're live out of Tampa, Florida, from the Vreeland Real Estate headquarters. A couple more seconds here. All right. And now the purpose of this webinar, so it's a day in the life of a real estate agent. So what we're looking to accomplish is to peel back the curtains on what a day in the life of a real estate agent is really like, and to how to be a successful real estate agent in this market. And whether you're just thinking about getting your license, maybe you're new to the industry, but even if you're a veteran, our goal is to just share some great nuggets for everybody and hopefully get some good content that you can take back and apply to your business. I'm joined by Jordan Vreeland here, CNO and visionary of Vreeland Real Estate. Welcome, Jordan. Jordan, if you don't mind, sir, we'll get started. So can you please maybe just share a little bit about yourself and maybe how you came up with the idea of creating such a unique platform for agents to thrive in?
Yeah, sure. And thank you for having me, Jason. So this business I've been in 25 years. Started in lending and was a preferred lender for a lot of wonderful, great teams, some of the biggest in the nation, brokerages, teams. I got to peek behind the curtain, see what's going on, sales meetings, CRMs. We learned way too much about too many CRMs and processes in general, just the team in general. We looked at, ways that it could be better. And a lot of things just didn't make sense of how a client came in and how the business was attacking, or helping the client. It was sloppy altogether. And we just looked at it, we analyzed, we tried to perfect, and we just thought that we had a better way of making a smoother process for the client.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that information. And wow, Samantha, you're all the way from Chicago, huh? That's fantastic. I didn't know we had such a reach. Well, I want to make this interactive. We want to make this fun. We want to make sure we're giving you all the information you're looking for. So please take advantage of the chats, guys. Use that. Throw in there even maybe some questions. And as we're talking, we want to make sure we're answering your questions. And even towards the end, we'll have a Q&A session, so we'll get most of those addressed as well. But if we're on topic and we see your question in the feed, we'll certainly respond to it too if it's in course to what we're talking about at the time. But worst case scenario, at the end, we'll make sure we get everyone's questions addressed. So we can make sure, again, you're getting that content that you could use in your day-to-day. Let's start with maybe the motivations of becoming a realtor. I think when it comes down to most people want money. They think they can get a lot of money from becoming an agent. Maybe the money will rain from the sky if they get their license. Not always the case, but that's a biggie. And then just the ability or the thought of helping people achieve homeownership. I think that's huge for a lot of people. The money that comes with that, or being part of that process. They love the idea of becoming an agent and to, again, help people achieve the dream of homeownership while making a lot of money while doing it. And JV, if you don't mind, can you maybe touch on maybe somebody in the team that's really came in and just achieved a lot since they started? They've maybe quadrupled their income and maybe helped a lot of people while doing it.
Yeah, I had one-on-ones this morning, so I could set an attestment to it. Newer agents, I guess we're just talking. We have seasoned, we have all levels of agents, but newer agents, we have individual that came on in North Florida market. First month, she had 5 deals. Coming from a business, and she bounced around small brokerages, lack of training, didn't know what to do. Everything was remote. She came in, ran the play. She listened. She was good. She worked hard, but just a lot of things she didn't even know. Like if you asked her to negotiate an inspection or come back, the appraisal's shorter, what do I do? And she'd come screaming, right? And then the team leads and everybody else would jump in and help. But it's exciting to see her lift off and not having any experience before and just running and gunning and just trying to figure it out. But then going into a system and help through team and all facets of it, it's really fun to see somebody have their breakthrough and get really excited and helping clients a whole lot.
Right, that's awesome. What about the dream of time freedom? When you become an agent, I have all my time back that I have because I don't have all that at 9 to 5, So when I become an agent, I have all this time freedom. Can you maybe elaborate on that and shed some light on what that's like? Is that real? Is there a balance of time and money?
If you're searching for balance, I don't know. I mean, you can try to find it. There is no balance. There is balance. There's time boxing, time block. There's all these things that go on. I think it's a fairy tale in general. Most come from another profession. So if I would say you're an engineer at Meta or at Dell, and if you go in and like, yeah, you make 130,000, 180,000, cool. I want to do that. I'm going to go be an engineer. And I was a school teacher, but I was going to be an engineer. And then I'm mad because I had to work 12-hour days or 14-hour days, and then I wasn't making the money. And hurry up. I've been here 9 days. Hurry up, or 60 days. So it's almost a fairy tale because you think there's a high fall-through ratio, but it's really tough. It makes sense. Like you're coming from being a school teacher or VP at a marketing company or whatever profession you came before, and you want this instant gratification and you want to work out your living room. And I'm just going to dedicate about 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to do a couple tours, have a coffee, go to Starbucks, and then I'm done. I'm done for the day. So it doesn't make any sense. Like I can't go into another business and go to being a mechanic tomorrow and go in there for 2 hours and then getting pissed off that it's not working. Like the fairy tale doesn't make any sense.
Now, is there any ability to get some time? Am I going to be working 24/7?
No, it's how
you vacation.
Yeah, I mean, it's you look at the busiest people. You look at professional athletes. You look at celebrities. You look at anybody else. I mean, they're dissected in their day. So how do professional athletes play at the highest level? Several practices, trainers, they got all this stuff going, but they still have families. Well, they set aside their time. They know what they're doing. So you can't just work out of your living room and then wake up at 10 o'clock, roll over in your underwear and do some, send some emails out and do 3 social media posts. I'm going to go get into $1 million listing and have some champagne and do a video, and that'll get them. But like, what are you doing? And it's to a lot of agents, it's not their fault. Like they don't know any better. They watched a TV show, Netflix or any other show, and they saw these things happening, and you think, holy cow, that's what I do. But they don't understand that you actually had the super key didn't work. You're in Florida. It's 190,000 degrees out. You're sweating. The client's behind you. You're embarrassed. You got to go around back. You're walking. Your shoes are all muddy. Like the car wouldn't start. Like the other one, nobody's there. The seller said it's already under contract. You didn't know. They just text you. Like all these things are happening. But where's the champagne? Where's the water view? Like again, it's a lot of it is just misconceptions of what really happens and how much time you have to put in the beginning. Just like sports, like you can't go out on the football field and play in the NFL. Like you got to put your time in. You got to practice. You really have to get after it in the beginning.
So it sounds like work works, right? I tell people every day it's a full-time sales job. You have to treat it as such. You have to put in the work. That's everything that you're saying. And I don't think some people understand that piece of it. As with any sales profession, whether it's automobiles or selling your own services or real estate, it's a contact sport. The more people you're in front of, the more people you're talking to, the more likely you are to transact. And we just got to dial ourselves in. Can you maybe touch on just the advantage of the team? Like we have a few teams under the umbrella per se. Can you maybe touch on how that allows agents to concentrate on just doing their business, focusing on what's important?
Yeah, you have to have a sound team. You have to have direction. So go back to kindergarten. I want to sleep all day. When you went in, they told you what you're going to do, where you're going to walk, you're going to get in the line, I don't want to do that. Okay, you're not going to do it. You're going to take a nap and you go home. But everything you do is systematized, right? That's how we're trained. Why is real estate different? So you have to go onto a team that has their stuff together. Are they time blocked? Do you have somebody at all times that can pick up the phone or jump in to help you out? If you're on the phone and you're drowning, you have no idea what you're saying, can you mute the call and someone dives in and saves the call while on speakerphone so you can hear and learn on the fly? Because if you're doing it on your own, again, that's a high failure rate. If I go into some other business and just start talking and freelancing, and I'm talking myself out of the deal, okay, it doesn't make any sense. So you have to be in a team that has a lot of structure, especially in the beginning. So you need the accountability. The accountability is not mean, it's actually love. If you have the accountability set, if you have the specific measures that you need to hit and the analytics that you need to hit, and you know what they are, then it's a lot easier to lift off.
Yeah, good stuff. And, just a little bit about the day in the life portion of this, right? Like I talk to a lot of people, and there's two common denominators. I don't care whether you're new to the industry or you're experienced. They want to talk to more people, or how do I get business, right? Like, I got my license, now what? How do I? My spiel only goes so far. And support. Newbies need it for obvious reasons, but even experienced people, they don't need as much support. But when they need it quickly, and they need it at a high level, because there's usually a deal on the line. And obviously, if we don't fix that, there's going to be opportunity costs for everybody, right? The brokerage and the individual. So can you maybe elaborate on what's different on our team? Like if there's an agent, like how do they get in front of more people? What kind of levels of support are there?
Yeah. First of all, the hardest part of this business is getting the deal. If you're a new agent, you're going to buy leads from the portal, right? One of the portals. If you're going to buy the leads, it's putting the credit card out there and having them hit you for 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 and up, and not knowing that you're going to get 4 leads. And 2 of them are bad numbers. One won't answer, and one said, call you when I want to. And now the second month, same thing, third month. So it's a lot of pressure. And how much money do you have coming in? 0. And how much money are you spending? You're spending money. It would be great if the client would say, I'll pay your gas to drive me around. You don't know if they're qualified, if they're not qualified. So you really need to go in and have guidance immediately and put the right deals in front of you. Now, I would say aim before you shoot. If the client says, yes, I want to go buy a home, I'm in my car, we're going, meet you at 4. Who are you meeting? Do they qualify? Think it through. Does this make any sense to you? None. Okay, then get out of your car. Or let's have a conversation first. Is this a now buyer? Is this a list buy? Do they have other properties? Are you prepared for what you're about to get into? So I think a lot of it is just calling a timeout before you jump in. And you have to know, like, obviously lead flow helps, but how you attack the lead flow, what your accountability levels are from your team leader, your brokerage, what do they have set in place? Nothing. And you're at the wrong place. I can tell you that. If you have it set up per the hour of what's happening and by the day, like, what did you have to do by the end of the day? Is your goal? Our goal is, I want 3 different clients and 3 different tours. Can you get that every day? Maybe not. Maybe you had 4 and 2 said, hey, there's multiple offers, we're going to put the offer in. Okay. But if you can get 3 different clients, 3 tours, and you're having a pretty good day. Maybe you take off 2 days, 3 days a week, 1 day a week, whatever it is. But if you could set just certain measurables that you have to accomplish, make it more like a competition. Right? Everybody loves sports and stuff. And even if you don't like sports, you still want to be competitive. But clients need you to advise. They need you to actually go to bat for them.
Yeah, I agree. They need you to be the pro, right? They don't know any better. Well, it sounds like we've talked about this before. It's bringing a lot of structure and organization to a very unstructured and unorganized industry, right? So it helps these pieces of the puzzle help to just give that organization so people can be set up for success, which is pretty awesome. Because what's not awesome is some of the realities of real estate and some of the statistics that are out there. There can be a lot of highs, but there can also be a lot of lows of being in the industry. And some of the scary stats, I think there's a 87% failure rate in the first 3 years, meaning people actually leave the industry altogether. Some people never take the leap of faith to go full time, but a lot of them that do, the majority that do are exiting. And that's scary thought to jump into a sport like that, right? Now, some other stats, the average agent that's full time is doing about 6 to 12 units a year, making about $70,000. But in the beginning, it's not like that. It could be half of that if you're lucky, right? And some people take off faster than others, but those are real numbers. And then the last one, before I have you elaborate, is average income of $72,000 if you're a full time agent, but 7% of the agents make 90% of the income or 93% of the income.
Yeah.
So like that 72,000, usually either way less than that or way more than that. There's no real in between if you look at the numbers for what they are. If you don't maybe be touching on that a little bit, like why is that?
I mean, I think you focus on, if you say 87%, and that number just be, it's always going around 90%, and it's crazy, right? So you think of getting into a profession, 90% of the time you're not going to make it. Why the hell would I do it? 90% of the agents you're watching, and maybe the reason you got into the business was because of their schedule. I don't have to do this. I quit my job. I hate going to the office. I don't want to go to meetings. All this stuff. Okay, well, you're watching 90% failure ratio or 87% failure ratio, right? Focus on the 10. What are the 10 doing? I guarantee you the 10 are working hard. Like this business, unfortunately, a doctor has a pager, right? If something happens and they miss the page, someone may die. That would be really bad. So you have a CRM, you should have it on your phone. If you get a message, if you get an alert, and a property alert, a text you, and they call you, you could look at your phone, not working today. It's Saturday. And I've seen this for years. It baffles me. It's pretty funny. The agent would say, it's weekends. I don't answer the phone on weekends. And they sometimes list the agent or it's a buyer's agent, and they just shake my head. What do you think? Like, imagine if there's an open house with a client. They've been looking for a year. They finally found a place. You could get there before the open house. You could put the offer in. You could do the right thing. You could advise them what's really going to happen. There's going to be 3 offers, and you're going to go to a bidding war. Now, client, you have to pay more. Oh, you don't have that money. Now I just did a disservice. Like, you wanted the dream to come true. You wanted this home. But like, what kind of service level are you getting? It's incredible to me for someone to think that that's okay. I don't know. We see some wild and crazy things. A lot of it boils down to work ethic. If I'm coming in, I'm looking at the 10%. You can look in Zillow. You can look on social media. You can look on recruiting sites. You can see how many reviews you have and how many sales. I don't care that you've done it for 27 years. Someone that's done it for 1 year, for 2 years, they can do a hell of a lot better. We've had agents that are part-time doing 37 units a year, right? We have agents first year doing 44 units. We have agents doing 63 to 80 units a year. So some of them have massive experience, others don't have much at all. But it depends on which model you're in and how much support and help you get, I can tell you that.
Got it. And that's a great perspective. Just focus on the 10%. Everybody wants to look at the bad news, but look at the good news. It's there. It's there in every market, right? There's always opportunity. That's a great perspective. And maybe just what would you think the biggest disparity is between the ones that really get it and the ones that don't? Is their DNA different? Like what's different between the two people?
A lot. I mean, hunger, really. So what's your appetite? What's your hunger level? Do you want to work? Do you want to get after it? And don't just jump to money, because money is just a vehicle for you to do what you really want to do. Right? I really want to open this business. I want to do something else. Well, money is just a vehicle for your dreams to come true. I've heard a lot over the years. And you said in the beginning, I'm going to be a realtor. I'm moonlighting as a realtor, and I had no friends that want to buy a home. Great. You're helping them with the biggest investment of their life, and you don't know what you're doing. That could be a disaster. You could get sued. Like, you're going to end a friendship immediately because you don't know what you're doing. And the others would say, you know what, I just hated working in corporate America. I'm home. Like, okay, well, let me play this out. Let me future pace this for you. So you're in real estate because you want to work from home. I get it. Now you get busier. You buy some leads, you got stuff going, you get in CRM. And then what? I'm busy. I can't show everybody. Okay, you need an assistant. Maybe you need a showing assistant. Got it. Then they have to come in your living room. You have underwear on. That's weird. They can't. Now you gotta get dressed, right? Oh man, I gotta get dressed. I gotta look presentable. Okay, well fast forward that. Now you're busier. Now you got more showings. Now you need an ISA, inside sales assistant. Okay, now they're coming over to the living room. Now they can't fit. They're in the kitchen. You're in the living room. Okay, well pretty soon you need an office, right? And then guess what you're gonna go back to doing? Meetings and time blocking. And you're right back, but you're successful. You're making money. You're doing it. So skip the whole idea of I want to sit around and lay around. I was watching a podcast the other day and someone said, all right, you're going to make all this money, then do what? So I don't have to do anything. Okay, let's sit here. But let's do 5 minutes. Don't do anything. So just sit here. So how many minutes go by? How many seconds go by before you're like, bored? What am I doing? So you want to find ways to work less. And I get it. Nobody wants to burn out. And there's things you want to do. But it doesn't make sense where I want to go and do that. The mindset of that agent never works out. It just doesn't. Somebody want to go in and help the dream come true for the client, or they have financing goals they want to get to, but they have a hunger. Like, no, I want to learn this. I want to help people. I like to be in the mix. I like to be out showing. Those are the ones that have the appetite and they have the will to do it. Skill, a lot of it we can teach.
Got it. I like it. Mindset and hunger. It's fantastic. Let's talk about the power of building a predictable business. Is that even possible? You know, the word we love to throw around is that systematic predictability. Having these systems in place where if you just kind of get in and get after it and run the play, we can almost predict what your outcome is going to be at a pretty high level, is because we have the data that supports from top performers. Can you maybe elaborate on how that allows our agents to focus on just income producing activities?
Yeah, I'll give you a little visual here.
Hey, Jordan, I think we lost your audio. My apologies for interrupting.
Okay, back on? Good? All right, here we go. So you want to gamify a lot of this. This is a leaderboard. This makes a lot of sense. You're talking about systematic predictability. We preach that all the time. I want to know how many appointments we have. You get 500 points for an appointment. How many clients you talk to. How long you talk to them. How many calls, how many texts, how many emails. So if you have 12,000, a minimum is 8,000. So you want to be over 8,000 in 7 days. So again, this is what works. This works really, really well. Not just here. This is the best of the best in North America. Here are the metrics. Like, we give it all away. So if you had over 8,000 points, it's not that hard. The goal is to be, so take for example, his 17 tours. Good job. 17 tours in 7 days. He's going to have generally 5 to 7 contracts at a time. So he'll do really well. 213 calls, I would probably push that to 300 plus. But if you have 7 contracts, your calls and your texts, everything's going to go down because you're in money-making land. You're in money-making activities, you're helping clients, you got a lot of stuff going on, inspections, deals and underwriting. Text, you always want to do 2 or 4 to 1. So if I had 213, I'd want to be at about 600 texts for the week. Emails, I want to speak to my database. I'd want to have 200 emails out. Now, you don't want to pelt the client. Talk to them. What's today? So it's the 24th, the Olympics start. Talk to them about there. Where are they from? What's the best sport their country has? Like, talk to them on a human level. Build rapport. If you build rapport, then guess what? They answer the phone. That increases your talk time, increases your appointments. So a lot of this stuff, if you can gamify it and say with everybody, if they're struggling, I could look right here and say, if someone's down here and they're not on vacation, if they say, hey, I'm struggling a lot, it's not working out, I could go right to them and say, you're at 3,000 points, man. So if you had 18 calls for a week, I would say, take 18, divide by 40, 40 hours a week, and if you're doing that, and then 5 days. So if I divide that out, do you think you could do more than whatever? Say it was a call an hour. So what are you doing for the rest of the 56 minutes? And we really let them do the math and say, all right, you tell me, you share and tell me what you're doing. I can help you, but again, there's skill and will. If you have the will and you're putting forth the effort, then I would just come over here, like I've shown you exactly what we coach to and how we make top producers. I would look here and look at their conversations more than 2 minutes, and I could say, Brandy's doing a great job, but she's talking to the same people. So you want 22 people and 22 conversations over 2 minutes. I'll repeat. So this says conversations, 2 minutes. You want 22 different clients in a matter of 7 days and 22 different people. So you don't want to talk to the same people. So 44 and 21. So he's right about there. So if you hit 22 and 22 and you're not saying the wrong things to the client, or you're advising, you know what you're saying, you're helping them, it's really hard to fail. So this Matt's at 26 and 26. Well, if he keeps this up and he's saying the right things, he'll do really well. Now, if he has no clients under contract, the issue is what he's saying. So how do you fix that? Easy. You just go listen to some calls and see what he's doing. And then when he's doing it, you make him play it. And everybody hates hearing their voice, right? But if you have to hear your voice and hear your call, you stop it and say, hey, what do you think? Like, I think I did great. Do you? Let's try it again. And let him get through it and let him find out, and then you role play right onto it. So if you do that, what we've learned is that works really well. And instead of telling people, hurry up and make more calls, because I used to do that and that didn't work too well. And you got to work harder. Like, no, you don't. You have to work smarter. But you have to be in a system that shows metrics.
So if we could just touch on this even a little deeper, like that's a lot of activity, it looks like, which, I mentioned earlier how we have to embrace this as a full-time sales job, because the more people you are talking to, again, the more likely you are to transact. So that's a lot of activity. A big fear that I get from people that I'm talking to is they're scared to death of cold calling. Are those all cold calls? Are they reaching out blindly to that for sale by owner list that everybody's calling in Pinellas County or Hillsborough County or wherever market you're in, South Florida? Or are they calling expired listings? Like, where does all this activity come from?
A lot of, and that's funny because I had a one-on-one this morning with an agent, and that was the thing. His thing is, I hate cold calling. I said, okay, I do too. But I'm 20 plus years in the business. I don't think anybody would raise their hand, cold calling me. Put me in the game, coach. Like, I don't think that's ever going to be. But gamify it, right? The hardest part is having discipline, right? If you have the discipline and said, hey, for the next hour, I'm going to time block this, and I'm going to make 88 calls. I'm going to make 42 calls. And if someone gets on, I'm going to make them talk to me for 5 minutes. So who do you call? Well, you want to be with a brokerage that has new leads. And not just Facebook leads where they give a name and a fake phone number and you're just sharking down. We tend to spend a lot of money, more than I want to spend, on leads in general, right? And leads are opportunities, but you want to get the client that's a now buyer. So you want to focus on clients that are going onto the site and wanting to get help fast. So you could go Zillow, Realtor.com. Of course, there's several, and it's Zillow's not evil, and Realtor.com, and none of the lead sources are evil. It's how you attack it. Speed to lead is one thing, and then do you call? Because this is big. Do you do 48 hours and you're done? I called them 3 times. We hear that a lot. Interesting. That's beautiful. You called them 3 times. What do you think? So did anybody ever call you 3 times in a day when you wanted to buy something and you didn't answer? Okay. Well, we like to do 10 days of pain. So let me call you. I don't want to annoy you, but I might have to call you a couple times a day, send a text, send an email. The next day, do it again. Oh, I have to do it again? Yeah. Because pretty soon they're going to answer. Your competition, they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're going to call once and say it's done. No, not serious. Awesome. Watch your drip emails. So if you have emails or keep calling, they're going to say, I already bought with somebody else. But you have to have the discipline every day to do it. Now, you don't want to go through and go too deep. If someone says, stop calling me, leave me alone, respect their wishes. But what we see far too often is there'll be one call, there'll be a couple calls, or the notorious one, I gotta get deals. And they'll go in for a day and they'll make their 100 calls. I did it. They're like, great job. I'm so happy you did that. And it's not working. Like, okay, when's the last time you did it? Last Tuesday. Awesome. So every Tuesday, if you make calls and you call at the same time, you sort of look like a psychopath every week, right? So let's not do that. That's not the play to run. There's no way you're going to be able to convert anybody, and you're bothering them. Or do you call them at 2:00 in the afternoon? They're at work. Why would you call them at 2:00? Like, think about the times that they're open and active. Think about you when you would talk the most. Look what time the lead came into you. That's when they were free. Why don't you set your alarm or schedule a text at the exact time that lead came in?
Great perspective. And just while we're on the subject of activity, I remember when I first started and there was a lot of activity. Can people get caught in the trap of maybe being busy, but really not being busy? Or maybe, I think when you used to slap me in the back of the head, politely, of course, in jest, but you'd say, money-making activities. Are you doing money-making? Because I was busy. I was busy as hell, man. I was all day, every day. But I wasn't really working with purpose. I come to find out, it took me a while to figure this out. But like the difference between working on purpose versus accident, or we're calling with intent, whatever you want to describe it. Money making activities, and the difference between those and just being busy.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. And I never slapped you, for the record. I might have taken your phone and threw it a couple times. I don't know. Maybe I did that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But
that was my one deal.
Sure. A lot of times when you're newer and you want to help, the whole thing is you want to help the client. You want to make the dream come true. So first and foremost, that's the goal, right? But a lot of times when you're newer as an agent, and newer, I'm saying the first 3 years in general, you tend to spend time on the phone with those that don't qualify or cannot buy a home anyway. Because you're nice, you're excited. If somebody's in a price point, say the market is at 400,000 or 700,000, and they're at 250. Well, the 250 in a $250,000 client in a $500,000 market, they're going to talk to you forever, unless tour, or they're going to say, yeah, let's go see 500, and then you get pre-approved. No, I'm good for it. Like, oh, please don't say that. So, are you spending time on the right client? Did you slice the deal? Did you dissect it? Does this make any sense? Because you'll see a 45-minute call go. And then what's happening? And really, are you helping that client? Aren't you giving them false hope that they can buy a place? I would want to know, hey, don't take me around for 3 days, 7 days. Don't talk to me for 45 minutes and get me excited when you know the answer is, hey, man, Jordan, you have to make more money. You need a co-sign. You need a lot more going on. You need a gift. You need to hit the lottery to buy the home you want to get. But I'd rather you shoot straight with me. And so a lot of times when people are busy, they're checking emails. Like the emails all the time, they're checking emails like that, magical deals. They're going on social media and they're looking at all their posts, but it doesn't make any sense. So you could be busy, and we see that a lot. You're just busy doing what? Looking at CRM updates. You're talking to somebody else next to you. We call it Sports Center. You hung up that call of 45 minutes. You got off the call, and then you downloaded the information to who's right and left of you about the same call for 20 minutes. So for an hour, you just wasted an hour of your day that you should be on prospecting time. But what are you doing? So if someone comes up and there's a call and they start divulging the information or telling the person right or left, we'll say Sports Center. Nope, stop it. Nobody needs to know. You know who needs to know that? The CRM. Put the note in. You can voice text the note. If you're a slow typer, voice text the note. Put it there. You don't need to tell anybody else because you're ruining their day. They don't want to know about you had a mobile home client that was a short sale that I can't believe you couldn't buy. Like, who? Get off the phone. You're not helping the client. Let them know what they could do if they could do anything at all. There's a nice way to end it, but you're not helping them.
Great point. And it seems like there's a lot of moving parts here, right? There's a lot of things going on at any given moment, especially if you do start getting busy. Can you maybe touch on a little more about the different levels of support and teams that are in place to help kind of keep this organized? Because it sounds like I could get lost in a whirlwind of stuff. How do I stay straight and focused?
Yeah, I mean, it's stretch and grow a lot of this. So if you're a newer agent, you can get to 3, and then you think the world is combusting because you're at 3 and the inspector called this guy, and I have 3 different lenders. Well, that's your problem. You have 3 different lenders working a deal, and they want to answer the phone and all these title companies. So, but soon this shall pass, and then you realize I can do 5. And I'm okay. And I didn't have to run over and be frantic and answer every single text message all hours of the day because the client was nervous and scared. They can't know that you are too. So if you're a newer agent and you're nervous and you're jumping into it, you can't do that. So if I went to the doctor and I needed surgery, and I said, man, I'm really nervous. I don't know if I have knee surgery or not. I need you to tell me. He's like, man, I'm nervous. I haven't done these before either. It's my first one. I'm nervous about your knee surgery too. And he's shaking. It's probably not the best advice, right? But the doctor's not going to answer my call. A good doctor wouldn't answer my call hours a day and text me at night and come back and be frantic, right? They would say, hey, relax. We got this. To get there when you don't know it, you got to rely on your team leader, your team. Right? Your team may come in and say, hey, again, let me take the call. I want you to listen. I'm going to assist you and help you, but you have to be here. Don't walk away from me. Don't say you handled it or got a minute. Like, hey, I'm going to bring all my fires to you. You put those out, and then I'm going to keep going. Like they love to do that. No, if I'm going to take this, you're going to sit right there. I'm going to go on speakerphone, and you're going to hear it. And right after that, we're going to role play it on the spot. And you're going to tell me what you've learned. Because if you hear it, then you'll know, oh, that wasn't that hard. So you can look at 3 deals, then you get up to 5. If you can go to 7, 8, and I'm talking about pending contracts in a month, 7 to 8 is where you really need to rely on a transaction coordinator, some ISAs. We have a wonderful team, an Eagle team out of the Philippines. They've saved us for years. We love them. You can go virtual with it. You can go in-house. But ISAs, when you're touring and running all over, that is a very helpful position to have. 7 to 8 is where you really need to start to have showing assistants and ISAs, transaction coordinator. And if you can go higher than that, some agents do, then you just sort of build from there and build out a team. So we love building teams. That's one of the most exciting things is seeing agents lift off, helping clients, but growing their teams. For years, we've watched that evolve. And I guess that's what it's about. I mean, you get into real estate to be successful, and you can't do it all on your own. There's only so many hours in the day. You can only work so hard, right? Until you burn yourself out. You're working 7 days a week, but you got to know when to stretch yourself, and you got to know when to put the pieces of the puzzle in, and that's where you rely on leadership in general to say, what do I do next? Having a coach is great. You should have a coach, and if you don't have the money to have a coach, hell, I have a coach. I have several. If you don't have the money to have a coach, then the brokerage should be your coach. Someone in their team lead, someone should be your coach. If you go to a place and they say, I haven't produced since 1988, what are you going to tell me? Like, I've been out of production. Like, really? I know that I have to go in the morning from 8 to 9. I make calls with the team. I have to. So if you don't have something set up where it's in the morning, do you have a team? We call it team workout. We have to post it on Snapchat and say, hey, who's checked in? It's not about working out. We're not bodybuilders by any means. But the most successful people, celebrities, athletes, doctors, name it, they wake up and they get oxygen to your brain. You can do yoga. You can do big yoga. You can jump on the curb 45 times. You can jump rope. You can go for a run. You can do CrossFit. You can power lift. Whatever you do. But 4:45, 5, you gotta get up. Because your mind starts going. You're clear. You can have a coffee, cappuccino, Celsius, cold brew, whatever you want. Kiss the baby, walk the dog, take the kids to school. 8 o'clock, you're laser focused. We have agents that at 7:30, like, come on, let's go. It's time. Like, Not yet. 8 o'clock is the start. It's a tip off. 8 o'clock. But they're in there. They're doing role play. They're getting their voice clear. They're ready to roll. From 8 to 9 is new business. I am not answering an email. I am not checking my email, because one bad email, my whole day is gone. I'm not answering the inspector, lending, calling, and saying, hey, deal's not going to be approved. Again, my whole day is gone. So I'm just going over new business. That's all. Making calls, texts, emails, just tracking new business in the CRM. And I'm with the team, so it's not me doing my own. I'm competing on the game, like on the gamification on the leaderboard. I want to be number one there. 9 to 10, we call it crazy eights. It's more of time boxing. So I want to list in my smart list in the CRM, I want to see my best deals of the day. So if I can see my best deals that I need to focus on, so we do it in teams, they'll be on Zoom, in Zoom rooms, they'll go in and each person will say, they just texted you, hey, they just went on and they like something on your site. So we'll label the deals down. You may have 10, you may have 15. The rest of the day, focus on those 15. Try to set 3 tours through those. Set 3 tours through different clients, you're winning. Get past the 2 minutes on a conversation. Talk about the Olympics for a minute. Talk about where they're from. Talk about what college they went to. Talk about anything other than real estate. Don't talk about real estate. Don't talk about property. Don't be the typical agent that says, what are you looking for? I'm just following up. I'm just checking in with you. Do not say that. Like, talk about where they're from, what they'd like to do. Do not say the square footage 3-2. Got it. You're just like everybody else. Like, what's your separating factor? So the 10 to 11, you're going through and you're going one by one, knocking those out. We keep them on a Google Doc, so it keeps everything organized. We have ISAs that manage that. We have team leads that are jumping in to help out. 10 to 11, if you're done by 10:30, you're going to role play. You're going to do escalations immediately. On this deal, I need questions. Knock it all out. 11, take a break. 11:30, we have a pipeline, deals under contract, deals in underwriting. We're going to know what's going on. Each day we cover our offers. Do you need help? What's your offer strategy? Did you talk to the listing agent? Did lending call? TC, are you involved? Did we group text? So by 12:05, 12:15, it's ready to go. 2 days a week, we have hot topic role play, but we do it, role play could be boring. So we make it firepower role play. So at 9 to 10, Tuesday and Thursday, we go in and we cover the topic. There may be, we do Zoom rooms. So you got to be ready. So if I'm going, if I stutter, if I say next person. If I stutter, next person. So it doesn't matter. And we bring lending into it too. We bring ISAs, lending, real estate. We bring everybody into it because you're technically on the deal together. But if you need that topic, you need help with it, then it's go time. That seems to help people get along better together. It builds their confidence too. But in the morning, you're set. Like, what am I going to do next? You don't have to think of what you do next. It's already set up.
Yeah, sets the tone for the day. I agree. And a lot of this stuff is intimidating, or it seems like it's a lot and people are nervous, but like at the end of the day, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable to grow in life in general, right? And to succeed. And the theme seems like work works. You keep saying that, right? It's just
But think about like this thing, this happens, right? This is, you guys do workouts, like study, just go on YouTube, study the most successful people, any business, any industry, right? What do they do? Like, just put own the morning, put anything in the morning rituals, morning routines. Look at the most successful people. They cold plunge, they did it, like they go through it. Why do they do that? Are they all psycho, right? Are they all, no, it works.
It just might work.
Yeah, if you're saying you want to get into a business, you don't know anything about it, there's no structure, no organization, I'm going to work out of my living room, and go figure. 87% of the people fail. Go figure that 87 are going to fail. But if you have massive accountability and structure, and you can do it, you don't have to be the best rapport builder. You don't have to work out the hard. You just have to follow. Your whole life you've been following a regimen, whether you like it or not. Whether you're in sports, whether you're in school, college, you've been following a path, right? You just have to do it here. But the cool thing is everybody else is doing it. You can make it fun. You can chill. Yeah, it's not miserable. It's actually better if everybody's rowing together. Like if you've ever been in a sport, and I play basketball, but you move the ball and everybody's touching the ball and everybody's pumped up and we're excited, everybody's scoring the ball, then we're happy, right? But now if I would just go and shoot every time and everybody's pissed off about being on my team and we made excuses all the time, and but it doesn't make, nobody would want to play. So the same thing here. If everybody's doing that and coming back, and like as crazy as like one of our core values is lifestyle. So it's family, work, and health. So you can be with your family all the time, but are you making money? I don't know. That goes to the top. Then you're eating fast food all the time. Well, why don't you put health? So own the morning. So if you do that, what people start to do is pretty funny, is someone will come back and walk up next to them during the day and say, hey, I counted on you today. I'm like, what are you talking about? You didn't post your picture. I'm like, oh, I forgot to. Like, well, I didn't wake up, because usually when you do it, you don't know that. I look for that, and that sets my alarm, and I get mad at you. Like, whoa. Or on the leaderboard during the day, like, you're number 2, and I'm going to beat number 1. And they'll check during the day on tours. They'll check and see what place they're in. But if you gamify this stuff, then it's pretty fun, and you compete a little bit, and it's friendly competition with your team, right? But you're competing with each other, and your knowledge level, and if you're talking about income and contracts, it's like SpaceX. Like, you're pushing each other forward.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff, and it's sometimes so obvious why people don't succeed, and everyone's wondering what went wrong. And it's holy cow. Well, you have people that just put so much activity in, or they put so much in from their heart, and they do it with passion. And it's no surprise to us that they're doing okay in business, and you have other people that just never get it, and they wonder what the hell went wrong. But at the end of the day, I don't care what business you're in, or industry, or brokerage, what have you. It's like, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. We can't want it more than you do. We can't want to see you succeed more than you want it from yourself. You know what I mean? It's just like, but it happens too often.
Well, let me ask you, and I've heard you say that forever, right? Because chief growth officer, you're talking to massive amounts of people. But I always bring it back to, like, why didn't it work? Why did this person come in? They're ready to go. They interviewed well. Man, you had, on paper, you were perfect. But to me, it just boils down, and they could be at different spots in their life. They could be, I need money now, and I picked real estate, and I didn't close the deal in the first month. But, come on, man, nobody told you you were going to do that. And you can't come in 4 days of the month and figure out, like, it didn't work. No, you didn't work. But I boil it down. I mean, tell me what you think. I boil it down to discipline. Like, if you can't set discipline 31 days, if you could do this 31 days and set that habit, wake up and run this play for 31 days, that's when I see people lift off. But the others that don't, and team members that were, didn't work out here, it's like a common theme. What do you see?
I agree 100%. Like, no matter, you could run it till you die. Like, you would want it so bad, but if your actions don't represent what you want, that doesn't mean anything, because you'll never get it. Like, you have to put in the work. And it's exciting because you hate to see people fail, but what's also what thrives, or I guess what gets me going, is like the fact that we've seen some real awesome success stories. Like the young lady you mentioned earlier, I was looking at the stats, she started May 9th. It hasn't been 90 days, and she's closed 5 deals already and has 1 pending. She brought 1 with her from her own effort, but the rest all came from the house. That's what an agent does if they're lucky in their first year. That's what some seasoned people do in a year, and she's been here not even 90 days. And then another gentleman that got his license, and he got his license in August of last year. He started in September. By December 31st, he had closed 5 units, all from the house. This year he's closed 14 already, with 2 more pending this year to date. So he hasn't even had his license a year. He got his license in August, started in September, and he's closed 19 units so far. But he lives here every day. He just lives here every day and said, "What the hell do I got to do to be successful?" And he didn't know anything different. So God bless him. But he still has his own challenges to get through, like everybody has. Nobody's perfect, but he didn't take it. He didn't make any excuses. He was disciplined. What do I have to do? Is why I just drove him to just get after it maniacally. And that's what gets me going, man, to see how possible, what really is possible, if people just put in the work and just be a student of the game and run the play.
Yeah, I mean, those that are disciplined, I can say, I remember, not going to name names at all, but there might have been an agent, she's still with us, she's awesome. She told me on a first one ever, by the way, long time doing one-on-ones, first one ever. She got and says, it's not going to work. We're on a Zoom call. I'm like, in my mind, I'm laughing. I'm like, what do you know? And they're like, well, it's not going to work. Like the systems, the accountability, and then, it's not what it, okay, well, how long have you done? I just started. Okay, understood. So what would you see? So how would you do it? And I don't know, I'm going to call friends, and they're like, okay, I can play that out for you. And then we got through the call more. They're like, here's what we've been able to make. Top producer, Jacksonville, top it out of 12,000 agents in Tampa, top 1% of the nation, top inside, like each market, we've had the top agent in there, right? How many were referrals from them? 1 or 2 in a year, maybe. But they closed 72 units, 67 units, 44, 43, 70, like 99% were from the system. And that would be with help from ISA's Eagle team, help from lending, help from team leads in real estate, help from transaction coordinators, help from processing that always gives updates immediately, help from title. Like everybody has the same core values, the same disciplines. But if you're in a model and you have everybody around you, like a community helping you at the whole time, it's a lot easier to hit that 44, 72, 80 units. And these are from individuals that just came into the real estate space. A lot of them didn't even know what dot loop was when they came in. They didn't know how to write a contract. They didn't know inspection, what inspector to call, appraisal, how to reverse negotiate. Like, they don't know these terms. They know nothing. But they're fantastic individuals. They have great work ethic. They're disciplined. They run the play. They didn't give excuses. Like they took ownership. But the ones drawing back on this one, that was what we see. But the ones that can just push through that's awesome to see, man.
So it keeps me going for sure. And we're going to wrap up. We're almost the hour mark actually already. So we're probably wrapping up soon. So anybody I see a lot of you still on, but I don't see a lot of questions. So please fire away if you have any questions you want us to touch on specifically so we can give you what you're looking for, unless you're taking it all in and just sitting back. But either way, we just want to make sure that please fire some questions in there. Couple last things, Jordan. The secret to continuing growing, right? Like, I think if we could just touch on a little bit about that, how do we continue? Like, you always have to adapt, right, and get better. We've changed not a lot, but certainly had some major changes in the last X amount of years, right? And we had a few things that we tried in between that didn't work, right? But I always tell people when I'm talking to them, it's like, what are you doing every day to get better? I don't know if everybody's read the book Atomic Habits, but it's like there's micro adjustments to your day. It doesn't have to be a monumental change every day to get better, but if you just focus on, I'm going to do a little bit better today than I did yesterday, and just do that every single day, and you're going to continue to grow. And because that's a conscious decision. You're going one direction or the other every single day of your life, and you pick that, right? You have that choice, and it has to be this monumental change. You're not going to find the Lord every single day, right? But it should be in your life, but whatever. But what can people do to really continue to be on that right direction, or how have you maintained being so accomplished over the years, and arguably several different challenging markets, right? We've been through a handful of them now.
You have to adapt, man. So those that adapt, adaptability is intelligence. So you can't just do the same thing. And it's just to like agents in general, if you're going, like, do you go home and you messed up on a couple things? Did you YouTube it? Like, if you can't go get a coach, just go YouTube, man. Look at it. There's great information that's free that you can just get. You didn't know how to fix the sink. You don't have to call a plumber every time. Maybe I do, right? But you go to YouTube and figure some stuff out. My bike chain fell off. Okay, go to YouTube and watch it. Watch it 1 minute and then go and do it. So like, you have so much information right there. And the other one, like, what's helped me is I've always been a big producer and everything else, but I have to get out of my little pond and go into the rooms that make me uncomfortable. Get in there with, I'm great. Like, oh man. Then you step into the other room, like, oh, they're better. And then be quiet. Like that. I'm not saying anything. Like, what are you doing? But just take notes. You can be a student. Like, I'm a student every day. I want to hear what somebody else is doing. If I'm a new agent, I'm doing none or one deal, or I'm doing 7 a month, right? Go to who's doing 2, or go to who's doing 14, and just study them, right? Copy them. Mimic their movements, right? Ask them questions. If you do that, but be hungry to know. Like, if you're hungry for the answer, that's what to do it. If you go home and complain, or you get the but they probably don't count their money, right? Don't go back, well, they're doing it because they have a big team. They're doing it because they've done it. I'm like, really? Do you think they're home doing that about you, right? It's like if your team lost, Bucks lost, and you think the quarterback, if you had a bad day, they're worried about you. Like, come on, man. Like this, they're focused. They're so hyper-focused. They're having success. They're growing and thinking how they can get better. So you got to step outside your comfort zone. You have to be self-reliant, one of our core values, and you have to attack it, right? Go deeper in your performance. Role play like crazy. You don't have anybody to role play with? Get your wife, get your kids, anybody. Hey, does this sound right? How many times? Yeah, the mirror. If you say do a push-up, do a sit-up, do anything for every time you say count them, right? These are things when you're on the phone or you're in front of people, that's how you get better.
Got it. And, while we're waiting, maybe for a couple more questions to trickle in here, I haven't seen a lot of action. Everyone must be just taking it all in. But can you just, a common concern, we touched on it a little bit earlier, is with new agents is just building a client base. Like your sphere only goes so far. And there's a big difference. What we learned is there's a lot of people that might want to buy in my sphere, but can they buy? There's willingness, but ability is a whole different game, especially in the market that we're in. Houses are more expensive, interest rates are higher. That makes it tougher to qualify sometimes. So a big thing is just where do I get my business from? And maybe just elaborate on how our team supports new agents and lead generation.
Yeah, you got to get to a team. You got to get to a broker that supplies lead flow, that has systems, that have structure, training, role play, and not like we do role play on Tuesday once a month. Like, no, you have to be in an office, you have to be next to people, or you have to be on Zoom. Like we go live on Zoom 7 days a week from 8 in the morning till 9 at night. Zoom is rolling, and we have shifts 8 to 1, 1 to 6, 6 to 9. That thing's going. Do I work 7 days a week? Yeah. Does everybody else have to? No. But you're picking a business that if you're operating lead flow, it's buyer behavior. Like you don't know when it's going to come in, you don't know when the headache's going to go, but like you got to be on and you got to be adaptable of how that's coming.
Great stuff. And if I don't see a ton of questions, I think one of them that was just asked recently is, how can somebody that's new come in and just start making money? That's a great one, right? I'll say this to start, before you take over on that piece. Agents, what they tell you normally is don't expect to make money in like 3 to 6 months. And that's can be realistic. You want to make sure you're prepared to be able to wait before the income starts coming in. Now it's going to start snowballing. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's going to compound. Your efforts are going to compound, meaning you're going to have maybe one deal, then all of a sudden you have 2 at a time, then 2 more at a time, then now all of a sudden I'm closing 3 or 4 deals a month if you're doing it right? But it can take a while to get there. I can say with pride is just because of our system in place and the people that come in and bring their A game and put forth the work, we've had a lot of agents do it, close and fund deals and get paid within 60 days, some even 45 or sooner. I don't want to make sure I'm clear that's not the norm, but it's possible. So we can get people moving faster than most, but maybe if you can just touch on that as well, how can somebody come in and really just start making money? Because at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, I mean, you got to come into a system. Like if it's our system in general, you got to come in. I made a joke, not really a joke, but I said, hey, outwork me. Like I got to get a lot better, and there's people better than me. But if you come in, outwork me. Show up here before me. Don't leave till after. And then watch what I'm doing, or even if it's anybody, a team leader, anybody else that has success rates where you want to get to, mirror them and outwork them. But you can't complain, I want to make money, and then you're running home. Like we see agents all the time. I'm on 8 to 1. Cool. 1:30, I'm gone. Okay, let me go with you. 1:30. So you want to make money like engineers and doctors and lawyers, and then, yeah, cool. They don't go home at 1:30. So where are you going? Let me go with you. We're going to go stop at PetSmart. You're going to go here. You're going to go there. You're going to go home. And then you're going to watch TV. You're going to lay down for a little bit. But that doesn't make any sense. Like you have to put in the work, and you have to be time blocked. You have the stuff I mentioned before. You're time boxing. You have to be making the calls. You got to be hitting the metrics. And if you don't have them, you need to be in an accountability model. In the beginning, you have to. And even if I'm 10, 15 years in, I need the accountability. And I want to compete against my teammates.
That's great. Every time I hear you say outwork me, I have that flashback. I'll take this to the grave, I swear. When I met you in 2016, I think I started January of 17, right? And I was leaving a different space and different industry altogether, leaving salary and a decent, life into a world of the unknown, right? A whole new industry with commission-based income. And it was scary. And the first thing I said, what's that secret to success? Can you please give me that? What's the one thing that you suggest? And you just hit me with outwork me. And I'm like, that's a piece of cake. You got the good life, man. You look at, you did super well back then, and you're even more accomplished now because you still just never gave up that energy. You never gave up that desire to succeed and that willingness to win, and just you get after it every single day still. And you certainly take your vacations and have your family time regularly, but you never turn it off. And I think if people can just do half of what you do, they're going to do really well in life, and I think that's a great point you made with us. So I just had to share that because every time I hear that trigger word, man.
Maybe it should have been better. Like, that's it? I can do that. Like, it's not, there's no secret sauce, there's no fairy tale. You got to put in the work, man.
Amen. Well, we'll wrap up. I put a couple things in the chats. Anybody that wants to talk further, listen, there's no obligation to talk and have a strategy session. If you're looking to get into the business and you have some more questions you want to talk about privately, I'm happy to elaborate on anything that we talked about. If you're in the business and you're looking to get to the next level, or you're an experienced agent and you were great at one point and now things have changed a little bit and you got to get the mojo back, always offering a free strategy session just to talk about it. We're all in this world together. We're all trying to get better every day in life. So I'm happy to share. If you have questions and opportunities too, there's 2 different links. There's a link to our career section in Real Estate. And there's also a link to my Calendly where you can just schedule a call to talk. So please take advantage of that. And Jordan, I really appreciate your time and sharing all these nuggets with everybody. And if you have any closing remarks, please fire away.
No, man. I mean, again, this is just abundance. Give it all away. You guys have questions, right? Fire away. So my cell phone is online. If you want to call me, call me. If you want to call Jason, he's a wealth of knowledge. He knows everything that I've talked about for years. But man, just hit him up. Ask him a question. We're here to help.